Miss Nelson is Back by Harry Allard. One Friday, Miss Nelson told her class that she was going to have her tonsils taken out. "I'll be away next week," she said, "and I expect you to behave." "Yes, Miss Nelson," said the kids in 207. At recess was another story. "Wow," said the kids. "While Miss Nelson's away, we can really act up." "Not so fast," said a big kid from 309. "Haven't you heard of Viola Swamp?" "Who?" asked Miss Nelson's kids. "Miss Swamp is the meanest substitute in the whole wide world," said the big kid. "Nobody acts up when she's around." "Ooh," said Miss Nelson's kid. "She's a real witch," said the big kid. "Ooh," said Miss Nelson's kid. "I bet you get the swamp," said the big kid. Monday morning, Miss Nelson's kids were all back in their seats and they were nervous. Some of them hadn't slept all weekend. "If we get the swamp, I'll just die," said one kid, and they heard footsteps in the hall. And slowly the knob turned and the door opened. Uh-oh, who do they have? It was Mr. Bransworth, the principal. "I shall personally take over the class," he said. Miss Nelson's kids were so relieved, but soon they learned that Bransworth was not a lot of fun. All morning, Mr. Bransworth tried to amuse the class with his corny card tricks. "Oh, brother," said the class. That afternoon, Mr. Bransworth tried to put on his favorite puppet show with shattered pictures. "This is kid stuff," said the class. The next day, Mr. Bransworth demonstrated his favorite bird calls. They were not a success. And for 2 days, Mr. Bransworth showed slides of his goldfish Lucille. Miss Nelson's kids had never been so bored. While dusting erasers in the schoolyard, three of the ringleaders of 207 decided to discuss the situation. "Something must be done," they said. "We must get rid of Bransworth," and they hatched a plot. After school, they painted and sewed and borrowed some old clothes. They practiced doing difficult stunt work in the backyard, too. The next day, they weren't in class. "That's too bad," said Mr. Bransworth. "They will miss all the excitement." Mr. Bransworth was about to show the class his collection of ballpoint pens from all over the world when someone came to the door. Slowly, the knob turned and the door opened. "Oh, look," said the class. "Miss Nelson is back." A tall and lumpy Miss Nelson tottered into the room. Mr. Bransworth was surprised. "You're back sooner than we expected," he said. The tall, lumpy Miss Nelson didn't speak. Said the class. "Her throat must still be sore. Are you sure you're well enough?" said Mr. Bransworth. "She's sure," said the kids. "Well, in that case, I'll be getting back to the office. Nice to have you back, Miss Nelson," and he left the room. "Hot dog!" cried the cats. "We got rid of Bransworth. Now we can really just do as we please." And at the stroke of 10, the kids of 207 left the building. Nobody stopped them. They went straight to the movies where they saw The Monster That Ate Chicago twice. "This is really living," they said. Afterwards, they went to Lulu's where they stuffed themselves silly. But soon they made a serious mistake. What did they do? Heading back to school, they passed Miss Nelson's house. Miss Nelson couldn't believe her eyes. "Those are my kids," she said in a scratchy voice. "What are they doing at a school? And who is that with them?" Miss Nelson telephoned Mr. Bransworth to see what was going on. "You're not Miss Nelson," said Bransworth. "Miss Nelson is back." And he hung up. "Can't fool me," she said. Said Miss Nelson. "Something will have to be done." And she went to her closet. Back in 207, Miss Nelson's kids were spending an agreeable afternoon. They were very pleased with themselves. We should do this more often, they said. But they didn't notice the figure in the hall. Slowly the knob turned and the door opened. I'm Miss Viola Swamp, the woman said in a scratchy voice. Yipe, scared the kid. It's the swamp. That's right, and I'm here to whip this class into shape. Now get back to those desks on the table. The class did what it was told, and the big kid from 309 was turning right. Miss Swamp was a real witch. She knew how to get results, and the whole class did a whole week of work in no time. We shouldn't have gotten words of Brandsworth, they said. Pipe down, said the swamp, And then, just under her desk, something caught her attention. It was a mask. Aha, said the swamp. So this is your little game. And she tried on the mask just as Brandsworth stepped into the room. Mrs. Nelson, I have the opinion that someone might be impersonating you. Uh-oh, whispered the kids. You don't say, said Miss Swamp. Probably some kids acting up, but I'm sure it won't happen again, said Brandsworth, and he left. And it won't, will it? Said Miss Swamp. Because the swamp will be watching. A minute later, Miss Nelson appeared. I'm back, she said. Hot dog, cried the crowds. Are we glad to see you? Didn't you have fun, Mr. Brandsworth? Asked Miss Nelson. Said the kids. They decided not to mention Viola Swamp, but they also wondered why Miss Nelson hadn't seen her in the hallway. Sneaky, sneaky. Bye, guys.